Hello, this is Sebastian van der Schrier from socialanxietysolutions.com, and I'm talking this week about a problem that a lot of people with social anxiety suffer from, and it's sweating. Now, I had two private clients talk to me about this problem in the last week. As well, I had some comments underneath a video on YouTube where people talked about the problem that they have with other people seeing them sweat. And to be honest, that's not something I ever suffered from myself, though I did have blushing that I wanted to avoid happening and was really ashamed and humiliated by when that would happen for me. But sweating itself has never been a problem. However, I've helped many people that had this problem deal with it. So, and I'm sweating for you on purpose on camera. That's why I'm a little bit out of breath this week. I thought it would be nice and appropriate to be nice and sweaty when you talk about not worrying so much about being sweaty. And I know that this is a little bit different because it's pretty obvious that I have done something to evoke this sweat. But I hope that your sweating doesn't get as bad as this. This comes from a bit of salsa practice in front of the mirror and doing some burpees. So, all right. I'll first start with what the actual outcome is that you want to get to. Okay, so the outcome that you want to get to is, I don't care if you have a problem with me sweating. Because there's a lot of freedom within that. Now, to get to that point, you have to be okay yourself with the sweating. And that means that you gotta relinquish your self-judgment, give up your own issues with sweating. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, it's probably a bit much to cover in a short video, so I'll just give you an idea or a taster of it. It's a little bit the same as a coaching series I recently did where I coached someone live. His name is Damien, to overcome his fear of being seen anxious. It comes down to judging yourself for being anxious, or in this case, judging yourself for being nice and sweaty, and then projecting that onto other people and assuming that they're going to judge you as much as you're judging yourself for the sweating. And so your work is partly coming to terms with the fact that you're sweating and releasing the self-judgments. So say one judgment that you might have is like, it's disgusting. Another judgment that you might have is like, it's inappropriate, I shouldn't be sweating. They're probably judging me as weird. All of these kinds of thoughts, they're not just thoughts, they're emotionalized thoughts. So you can't just change them. You know, that might be a little bit helpful, much more helpful if you actually tap on these thoughts. So you hold the thought in your mind while you move from point to point. And what that does, when you do it in the right way, is it starts to disconnect the emotion that's connected to the thought. Because a normal thought, a thought that has no emotion to it, like, you know, yesterday I ate macaroni for dinner, that has no emotion to it, versus they are judging me for sweating, that has emotion to it. So the ones that have emotion to it, those are the ones that bother you. And those are the ones that really bother you, very difficult to change with just be positive or just change your thoughts. Okay, well, they're too busy with their own stuff to be judging me. While that's actually factually most likely true, it doesn't really get rid of the emotion that you have connected to the thought of, they're judging me for being sweaty. It might alleviate a little bit, but it doesn't release it. And we want to release it so it doesn't bother you anymore. So that's the work you want to do. So you can get to a place of, I'm sweating, it's all right. I don't like it, I don't prefer it, I wish it wasn't there necessarily, but I don't have any emotional reaction to it. There's no judgment about it. It's whatever, it is what it is. That's what I happen to do, I sweat, and so on. And that actually, once you get to that place, that might very well, or not, that might very well reduce the sweating, or at the very least, it will massively reduce your suffering as well as your anxiety. Because when you're no longer afraid of it, it's no longer a threat in your brain. Then your brain no longer registers or labels other people seeing you as sweaty as a problem, okay? Now, then I just want to talk a little bit about sweating in general. So sweating in general, man, I used to go to one of these dances here. It's called ecstatic dance. It's this big, weird hippie dance I've gone to a whole bunch of times, and it was very judgmental of in the beginning. Now a little bit less judgmental, but still a bit, because it's pretty much a freak show. It's basically where you go and you're letting go and you're dancing all over the place, and people are lying on the floor and squirming, and it's a show, all right? But I sweat like a dog when I do that, because it's a room with 150 people in the middle of the jungle, and it's an hour and a half long, non-stop. Well, they used to have a towel guy there follow me around because I was sweating so much that people were slipping on my sweat. So, and I would lie on the floor after that hour and a half, and I'd be like swimming in my own sweat almost. I know this is getting a very tasty conversation, but like I was making a snowman, out of my own sweat. And my friends laughed about it. I laughed about it because it's funny. I'm known to be quite sweaty, as you can see, and it also starts to gather here around my navel. It's like the core center of my sweat for some bizarre reason. So anyway, I'm not worried about that. Why not? I'll tell you why. Deodorant. I use it. Ooh, a plug for my friend actually. Here, try that out. That's natural deodorant, works very well. Doesn't mess things up. It's called Bali Secrets. That was an unplanned promotion, so whatever. But after all, it's just water. What's the problem? And I also don't have so much of a problem with other people sweating, as long as, pretty please, you use deodorant. Sometimes I dance salsa, and there are some women that are like, deodorant is not natural, so I'm just gonna go, come in stinky and you'll like my natural sweat. Well, personally, I don't. So use deodorant, and that's as far as you can deal with the problem. Or I've read where you can wear dark clothing and stuff like that. I do that when I go out social dancing. I don't wear this. I wear black t-shirts, so it's not obvious, but those are solutions that you already know. I'm just talking about sweating in general, and that it's not that big of a problem. I still dance with this girl, and now come to think of it, she's not as sweaty anymore as she used to be. Probably because she's not so anxious about dancing anymore, so that sweating is not there much anymore. But I would dance with her, and I would grab her hand to start the dance, and it would be slippery. So, it's uncomfortable, it's not helpful, it doesn't make things better, it doesn't make socializing easier, but really, I might initially, when I dance with her, come to things like, oh, wet hands. And then we start dancing, and then that's it. There's no real judgment. It's just in your mind that it's such a big problem. For other people, it's not a big problem, because it's not really an interference for them. So if you're okay with it, they'll be okay with it. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I was just in a restaurant with a friend of mine. We're having some lunch, and so I pulled out my phone. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this sweaty video soon. So let me ask her what she thinks of sweating. I didn't tell her what I was gonna ask her. I just said, hey, you're relatively comfortable on camera? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, can I ask you a question on camera? She's like, sure. I'm like, she's like, what is it? I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you because that ruins it, but it's just gonna take 1 minute. It's not a therapy question, it's just a normal, because she's a psychologist. I'm like, just answer it honestly, okay? She's like, all right. And then we popped on the video, and this is the result. So, I'm here with my friend Beatrice, and I'm going to ask her the question. Do you know what question it is, Beatrice?
No.
No, okay. So the question is, so if someone is sweating a lot,
okay.
then what do you think of that?
somebody's sweating a lot.
Yeah.
Why, in what context?
Just randomly,
Client
I
or a
guess.
person
No,
or
it's
some
just-
strange arm walking by?
No, just I guess a friend that all of a sudden starts sweating, or is just sweaty,
They're sweating a
or
lot.
they have
Then
a
I'm
lot of
thinking,
sweating.
poor person, they're sweating a lot.
Right,
There must be hot.
must be hot there. Yeah, that's about it, right?
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, you don't hate that person immediately.
No.
You don't think they're disgusting, or
No.
okay.
Unless it's really smelly.
Unless it's smelly. Exactly, that's a good point. There you have it. Okay.
There you have it.
There you
Surprise
have
question.
Anything else that you want to say about sweating? No.
It's okay to sweat.
It's okay to sweat. Yes. I'm gonna shoot
You're
this.
still loved.
This video is gonna be this part will be somewhere in the middle of the video, and when they're watching this now, they're probably like, I'm wearing this same T-shirt, and I'm gonna be sweating on the video. All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so hope you enjoyed that. Maybe. If so, leave it in the comments below. Anyway, there is more to it, most likely, to becoming okay and not judging yourself and being okay with others, with what others think of you, than just neutralizing those particular thoughts of, they shouldn't, I shouldn't be sweating. They can't see me sweat. It's disgusting. I'm weird. I'm different. I stand out in a bad way. All of those kinds of thoughts that are emotionalized, that's not really the foundation of your problem. The deeper problem that is actually feeding your problem with sweating in the first place is your lack of self-acceptance. You're not okay with who it is that you are, and the sweating is just a symptom that you're very focused on, but it's not all of it. I can guarantee you that. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that I work with who say, well, I'm afraid of people seeing me anxious. Okay, all right, well, if someone does see you anxious, why is that such a problem? Well, and it's embarrassing. Well, why is it so embarrassing? Well, they're judging me. Well, what are they judging you for? Well, they're judging me to be a loser, or they're judging me like that there's something wrong with me, or they're judging me to be weird. Aha, okay. So underneath, you feel that you're not good enough, that there's something wrong with you, and that you're weird. That's the bigger problem. You're not okay with all of you. You might on the surface be, but deeper underneath it all, on the subconscious level, you're not. So there is more to it. There's more work required. It's a social confidence journey. It's a path to go from sweating and being upset with it to, at ease socially, sweating or not sweating, being able to express yourself, enjoy yourself, have a good time, freely being yourself, authentically sharing yourself with others and really connecting. That's a journey, that's a path. That's not gonna happen just like that. You need to put in the work, you need to put in the effort. You need to either get assistance or, do your own inner work and uncover what is at the root of your problem and start doing that tapping and do that kind of stuff. It's not a journey of forcing yourself to face your fears and being tough and beating yourself up, and that's not it. My experience, that's not it. What it is, it's a journey of self-acceptance, of acceptance of the problems that you're dealing with, of coming to terms with who it is that you are and liking yourself and accepting yourself and respecting yourself and trusting yourself that you can handle whatever comes your way. And from that place, it's safe to be you. And then you can just, literally, there is nothing big about it. Just having friends, being a normal person, it's not special. It's just a lack of anxiety. If you have a particular person in your life that you feel comfortable with, or if you have a particular person in your life that you have ever comfortable with, think about how that felt. Do it now. Now, hopefully you can find someone. Some people don't have that, which is still fine. It just requires a bit more work, but you can still get to that place. But for those of you who can imagine someone that they felt comfortable with, well, that person that you felt comfortable with, whether that's a sibling or an old friend that you grew up with, or a parent or a grandparent or an uncle, or just someone that you met, with that person, you felt safe being yourself. That's who you really are, and that's all there is to it. You didn't have more social skills than you have now. You know, everything was just the same as it is now. It's just the lack of anxiety. But with that person, you already felt okay. That's the path. Coming to that, you know, from social anxiety to here, to being at ease. That's a journey. That takes work. And that might take you months. In some situations, it might take you years. But when you start doing that in the work, it starts to improve, because from where you're at, it's difficult to imagine how amazingly good it is. And so when you make a little bit of progress, which you can do in an hour, or which you can make amazing progress in the time span of a couple of weeks. You can halve your anxiety in a couple of weeks, most people, you know, if you apply these techniques in the right way. So when you start doing that work, it becomes addictive because you're growing, you're making progress, your anxiety is decreasing, you're becoming more comfortable. Now you're on the path, now you're doing it. You're not just watching these videos, oh, nice information. Information is not gonna change you. Tapping, doing the work, that's gonna change you. Okay, so having framed it in that way, giving you the truth of what is required to get to that place. And by the way, I say it is something amazing, and it is, but once it has been amazing for a while, it starts to just become your new normal. You know, I'm not waking up every day, it's like, oh yes, I'm at ease socially. Oh my God, thank the heavens and above. It's become normal. Just when you save up for maybe your first car, and you save for so long, and finally you have it, you're so excited, and you drive it and you love it, and after a month or after 2 months, you're like, all right, that's my car, I'm going for a drive, no big deal. Or your first house, or whatever. You get used to anything, okay? And this is just, there you go, I've said enough. That said, that frame put upon things, I want to take you through just a tiny little tap along to get you to hopefully feel a little bit more comfortable about the sweating problem. So hopefully we shrink the problem a little bit, and I've motivated, hopefully inspired you to start doing some of this work, all right? Okay, so in case you're not familiar with it, this is called tapping. It's a psychological form of acupuncture. It's a very powerful way to release emotions, and it's very easy to do, but you need to know how to do it right, and I'm going to show you one way of doing it right. And if you don't exactly know where all the tapping points are, simply follow me along, tap where I tap, and if you don't know exactly where I'm tapping, just guess. Top of the head, beginning of the eyebrows, side of the eyes, under the nose, under the chin, on the collarbone, under the arms, liver point, wrist point, and that's it. All right, I'm going back to the top of the head. And we're gonna do monkey see, monkey do. So I talk and you repeat what I'm saying. Okay, so just tapping here on the side of the hand, fleshy part, base of the pinky finger, base of the wrist, and just tap here continuously and repeat after me out loud. Okay. Even though I have this sweating problem, and I sweat profusely, and others can see it, and it really sucks, and it's my biggest problem ever, I'm willing to consider the possibility of maybe one day accepting myself. But until then, I deeply and completely reject myself. Top of that, and I should reject myself on the beginning of the eyebrows. After all, I shouldn't sweat. Sweating is disgusting. And it's inappropriate. I don't know. I sweat for no good reason. Chin, and they can see it. Okay, now while you tap on the collarbone, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think about either the last time when you sweated, when you were sweating, and someone saw it and you could see that they were seeing it, or imagine that happening right now in the moment. Wherever your mind goes is where you should go. Pick either or, it doesn't matter which one. And really be there, see what you saw or see what you're seeing, hear what you're hearing, notice the facial expression, and make it as uncomfortable as possible. So they're seeing it, it's out there, it's obvious. Okay. And Now just repeat after me out loud. Say, I release all my emotional attachments to, they're seeing me sweat. And it really sucks. Okay, open your eyes. Under the arms, I shouldn't sweat. Look at me. My goodness. Told you I'm a sweater. On the liver point, sweating is gross. Wrist point, it means that they know I'm uncomfortable. Top of that. And I should always look calm and confident. Beginning of the eyebrows. It's bad if they see that I'm not comfortable. Side eyes, they're probably judging me. On the eyes. And I release all my emotional attachments to they shouldn't judge me. I don't know. I can't handle their judgment. Chin. They're so much more powerful than me. Collarbone. If they judge me, I'm going to cry. On the arms. They're in control of how I feel. Liver point. I'm warning you, if you're judging me, I'm going to cry. On the wrist point, I have this big sweating problem. Top of that, and I feel really bad about it. Beneath the eyebrows, it's so embarrassing. Side eyes, I feel so ashamed of it. Eyes, it's wrong. I don't know if it makes me wrong. Chin, it means there's something wrong with me. Collarbone, I don't like myself when I sweat. On the arms, sweating is a really big deal. Liver point, I release all my emotional attachments to sweating is a really big deal. Wrist point, unless it isn't. Top of that. And I'm willing to consider accepting my sweating now or later. Deep breath. And relax. Good. Now, what I'd like to know from you is how are you feeling right now? How are you doing right now after that weird technique, that weird tapping, those bizarre phrases, that the information that you've been hearing? Was there any insight that you had? Did you have any shift in your feeling? How do you feel now compared to 22 minutes ago? Please leave it in the comments below. Got any questions for me? Comments below. Want to subscribe? Do it right here. And yeah, have a great week. If you want more training on how to get rid of this problem completely, you can go to social-anxiety-solutions.com/products. Okay, and you'll find some of the products that I've talked about before, and they will help you deal with that deeper underlying core of your problem. All right, so I hope it's been helpful. Have a great week. Leave in the comments below what your experience was. Please, please, pretty please. It helps other people to see that comment and hear about your experience, and it makes videos like this more popular on YouTube. So thank you and have a good week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.